Hey, Joy here. Today I'm going to be looking at whether pets should be fed a vegan diet, or I guess a plant-based diet. I'm going to be looking into why I think they should and kind of giving my explanations. I understand it's a controversial topic like my last video. Well, the one before my last video. The one on trans athletes. So I expect lots of people to disagree with me. But if you disagree, you can let me know in the comments. Anyway, let's get into it. Can pets be healthy on a vegan diet? For many pets, it's very easy for them to have a vegan diet. For example, rabbits, rats, mice, guinea pigs, hamsters, all these animals like this, it's super easy to feed them a vegan diet. Most of the foods are vegan already, some of them are not. For example, with rat food, I know some have like chicken in them. But if you just check the ingredients, you can make sure that they are free from any animal products, and it's super easy to make them give them a vegan diet. For dogs are pretty easy to put on a vegan diet, even though they naturally eat quite a lot of meat. Dogs are very successful in vegan diets. There's lots of like commercial vegan dog foods. You can also make your own vegan dog foods if you prefer. There's lots of recipes. I know there's a book about Bramble, the border collie, who I believe is the second oldest living dog who is vegan. So yeah, dogs are really easy. Just need to monitor the health, just to make sure they've got anything in case they need any supplementation. But usually they're fine on a vegan diet. Cats are a little more difficult because I guess they're more carnivorous. But they can. There's many vegan cats in the world. There's lots of commercial. Well, I say lots. There's some commercial cat foods, vegan cat foods, which kind of contain everything they need. I'll say these are probably the best options since they kind of cover everything the cat needs. You can make some at home, but obviously you need to make sure you include everything that they require. The only thing to keep in mind with cats is struvite crystals in their urine. So due to the alkalinity of a lot of plants, they can develop struvite crystals in their urine. But as long as you monitor their urine and make sure that they're free from them, it can be treated. So it doesn't prevent them from being on a vegan diet. It's just something you've got to keep in mind with a cat who's on a vegan diet. What about more carnivorous pets? So with ferrets, I couldn't find any examples of people feeding ferrets vegan diet. I would have thought it might be possible to feed them vegan cat food, though I'm not sure. I haven't looked into this. So I guess I'm unsure about ferrets on a vegan diet, whether it's sustainable for them. There are other animals which, as far as I'm aware, you can't feed a vegan diet. That includes things like snakes, spiders, and frogs. So yeah, these animals, as far as I'm aware, can't be on a vegan. Can't live on a vegan diet. So I'd ask anyone who's considering adopting these animals to not adopt an animal that can go on a vegan diet. And yeah, I say adopt because I'll discuss in another video about why you shouldn't ever buy from a breeder and should only adopt companion animals. Yeah, so I'd avoid adopting these animals and go for ones that can go on a vegan diet. Why should you feed your pets vegan? So you may be thinking, why would I give my pet a vegan diet? Maybe people will say, well, it's a natural and it's unhealthy for animals to be on vegan diets, like, for example, like cats and dogs. And they even say it's animal abuse to put these animals on vegan diets. And if you're one of those people who think it's cruel or animal abuse to put cats and dogs on vegan diets, well, then I can only presume that you care about animals. You care about them and don't want them to suffer. And if you don't want animals to suffer, then the only logical conclusion is that you should be vegan. So if you're not vegan already and you care about animals, well, I advise you to look into veganism and to change your lifestyle in order to prevent as much suffering to animals as possible. If you're vegan, then it makes sense to want to reduce the amount of animal suffering further by feeding your pets vegan as well. So once you realise that all animals have value, what makes a cat or a dog, what makes their life more valuable than, say, a cow or a chicken or a pig? Why would you value one life over the other when their capacity for suffering is the same? When you feed your companion animals, feed them meat, you are essentially trading hundreds of sentient lives. The chickens, the cows, the pigs, the sheep, whatever it is. You're trading hundreds of their lives for one other animal. What makes that one animal's life worth those hundreds of other animals? It doesn't kind of add up in that sense. If an animal can't be vegan, then I think the kind of least bad thing to do would be to euthanize that animal, which obviously isn't a good thing to do, but it's the best thing in the situation. I mean, think about it, like, is it better that one animal be euthanized, killed with a lethal injection or a lethal gas, as compared to hundreds of animals being bred into existence, being mutilated, tortured, having a knife pulled across their throat when they die? Isn't that a much worse situation than one animal being killed by a lethal injection or gas? I certainly don't think it's an easy decision to make, but given those two options, I know the one which I'd choose. Isn't pet food just a byproduct? Wouldn't it be wasted otherwise? There is an argument to be made that the kind of cheapest pet foods contain meat don't directly cause the deaths of animals, since they are just a byproduct. And I think you could make this case. Obviously, of course, there is still like a money exchanging hands with the people who raise these animals and are selling them, or, selling their kind of the parts that aren't fit for human consumption. So they're still kind of profiting off the death of animals, which is a sketchy area ethically. But at least you could say they're not directly paying for them. These byproducts isn't directly responsible. However, I'd argue, why would you want to kind of feed your companion animal the cheapest of pet foods? It's very kind of unhealthy for the animals, more unhealthy than like a vegan commercial pet food. A lot of the animals who make up these pet foods are the dead, the diseased, and the disabled, which are the 3Ds they call it. So these are the animals which are unfit for human consumption. Obviously, the dead being dead before it reaches before they reach the slaughterhouse. These are animals not fit for human consumption. That's not to mention the fact that there's been often cases of trace amounts of the chemical used for the lethal injection to euthanize pets and other animals found in commercial dog foods and cat foods. Whether that's because cats and dogs were in shelters and euthanized, were sent to rendering plants and got mixed in with the other kind of animal products to go into commercial pet food, or whether it's because animals on farms were given the lethal injection and then sent to the rendering plant and so on. Either way, obviously it's not good to have these in it. They also have lots of heavy metals in them. They're really not healthy for animals. I guess the other option, if you're then buying kind of the more expensive pet foods, or if you're kind of making it yourself, you're going to the shops and buying meat for your animal, then you are directly paying for an animal to die. So obviously that's unethical. Once again, you're weighing up the hundreds versus the one. One other option is to go dumpster diving for meat to feed your companion animal. And also finding roadkill is another option. These are ethical ways you can obtain kind of dead animals to feed to your companion animal, which don't require you to kill an animal. And I have no ethical issue with these, although obviously they're not necessarily very sustainable. And it's not like a dependable way of getting them. So maybe if you were determined to kind of feed them meat, you could do this alongside kind of commercial vegan pet food. It could be a possibility. But basically, it's a lot easier just to feed them rather than kind of feeding them this very unhealthy, cheap commercial pet food. Rather than going dumpster diving and trying to find roadkill, it's a lot easier to feed them kind of vegan pet food. It's kind of the easier option. This is the one I would recommend. Conclusion. If you have a cat or a dog, I really recommend you feed them a vegan diet. Because I imagine if you have these animals, you care about them. That means you care about their well-being, and you should care about the well-being of all animals. And the best way to kind of align your kind of actions with that belief is to be vegan yourself and feed them a vegan diet. Just take for an example, people love to put vegans on desert islands, but imagine you're on a desert island and you're there with 1 cat, 10 dogs, and a lifetime supply of vegan cat and dog food. Would you kill the dogs in order to feed to the cat? Because the vegan pet food is unnatural. It's animal cruelty to feed that to those animals. So would you kill the dogs to feed to the cat? I would hope that you'd say no, you wouldn't kill the dogs to feed the cat or cats to feed to the dog. I would hope that you'd feed them the vegan pet food. The animals that we kill to feed to ourselves and to animals, the pigs, the sheep, the cows, the chickens, they all suffer in the same way as dogs and cats. They'll have their own individual experience like them. So if you wouldn't do it with a dog or a cat, don't do it with these animals. You could make an argument for the cheapest pet foods. Once again, it's kind of dubious, kind of the quality and the ethics surrounding that. Dumpster diving and roadkill, I said, don't have any issue with that, just not as reliable. So it makes sense to get commercial vegan pet food. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you kind of understand my point of view. I hope you agree. If not, you can always let me know. But I feel very appropriate today with the whiskers. But it is boiling. I am melting, so I'm going to wrap this up now. Anyway, I hope you all have a very bodacious day. Peace. I hope you enjoyed that video. I found it really interesting, and it's a topic that I guess kind of seems very obvious to me. Maybe it's that kind of utilitarian thinking of weighing up one life versus the many. But as I said, if you disagree, let me know in the comments and we can discuss it. Anyway, have an awesome day. Take care.